Today, I have got with me on our Scottish Adoption and Fostering podcast, Rachel, her little baby, and Sarah, her support worker. And Rachel has really kindly agreed to come and talk to us today about her involvement with the Flock project that we run and hopefully give us some advice and tips and insights from her perspective about how we can all kind of improve in working in this area as professionals. So first of all, Rachel, thank you so much for agreeing to have a chat to us this morning.
That's okay.
And I just wondered if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to hear about the flock.
Well, I used to go to Chance for Change in the beginning, which the money ran out, the funding ran out. So that came to an end. And then I got a phone call from someone and I got invited to Bluebird. And then I became pregnant and Sarah told me about the flock.
Okay, so that's how you heard about it. And just for people who don't know what Chance for Change are and what Bluebird is, could you tell me a little bit about Chance for Change?
So it's a group for people who've had children either adopted or are in a kinship care placement, are no longer in their care, in the birth parents' care, and that really to support them kind of once that process had completed, once the adoption process had completed, and really to help them kind of talk about their feelings and get to know other people who've been in the same situation, to get peer support from each other. Because you did lots of activities and things, didn't you, at Chance for Change?
Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, we made bowl things with clay and collages, and they actually made them into pictures for us, got them framed and things. They gave us like a wee bag for like at home for like with different things that you would need for the course. Yeah, it was good.
I was going to ask, was it a positive experience for you, Chance for Change? Were there some...
Yeah, I was nervous before I went, but
yeah,
when I got there and I'd been a few weeks, yeah, it was good.
And what were you nervous about before you went?
Meeting new people.
And just that environment of kind of a group work setting, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you did the Chance for Change project, and then you mentioned that had run out of funding, but then you'd heard about the Bluebird Project. And so what was your experience of the Bluebird Project?
It was really good. It was like a wee family, all of us. We just used to go around and have a coffee and chat. Sometimes we'd done activities. It was really good, yeah, for building confidence and things.
Which parts of it do you think helped you to build your confidence a little bit?
Just being there, really.
And the other group members, you kind of described yourself as feeling like it was a bit of a family. And was that with the other group members? Was that with
the workers and the people that came?
And how many workers were involved in that project?
Quite a few, maybe 6 to 8.
Okay, so you had a chance to like meet with lots of different people.
Yeah.
And then were you saying that it was during Bluebird that you found out you were pregnant?
Yeah, it was actually, yeah, towards the end, yeah.
And so at that point, had you heard about the flock?
No.
And did you know Sarah then? Because Sarah's obviously...
Yeah, I've known Sarah since I was like, I think I was like a year, not even a year through Bluebird.
At the beginning of Bluebird, yeah.
So Sarah, it was you then, was it, that spoke to Rachel about the flock?
Yeah, it was. We quickly realised that lots of the parents that we were working with had gone on to have other children in their care, and they'd had described how isolating that had been because they'd been unable to talk about their previous children when they were meeting new people. And we realised that there was a need for a support group for that group of parents. So they had a safe space where they were able to talk about their children that had been adopted or were in kin care placements or long-term foster.
So several people who had been involved with the Bluebird, the staff team were realising were going on to then have children that they're looking after in their own care, but were finding it quite an isolating experience because even though they were looking after their child, it was hard to know how to talk about the children that they weren't looking after, who are obviously still very much alive in their minds and hearts. And I just wondered, was that something that you found difficult, not knowing how to talk about?
I'm quite open, so yeah, I do find it hard to talk about it, but
yeah,
it's been quite a number of years now, so it gets easier, I suppose.
With time.
And they're getting older and I get letters from them and things, so yeah, they're doing really well.
That's good. And do the letters help you feel connected to them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Giving you those kind of updates about how they're getting on.
Yeah.
So when you first heard about Flock, did you think it was a good idea? Were you feeling
I was very
nervous?
nervous about it. Yeah,
Which parts were you nervous about?
the whole thing, going and meeting new mums and meeting new babies and the workers, just everything.
And even though you were feeling really nervous, what was it that made you decide, okay, I'm going to give this a try?
I wanted her to meet new kids and, well, kids. I wanted her to meet kids her own age and like get her out and doing something that she likes.
And so can you tell me a little bit about Flock and how you experience it? So what is it
Yeah.
that lets you meet other children, for example?
Well, I get my taxi at 9 o'clock and then we go along till about, is it about 11?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have a wee chat first and then we go up the stairs and learn about the circle of security, and Sarah looks after for me and obviously the
So
other
that
kids
you know
as well.
she's safe.
Yeah. And if she wasn't safe, then if she was like crying or that, she would come up and get me. So that was a bit hard at first, but it's getting easier. And I've been to all 5 sessions,
Yeah.
and it's been really good. We really enjoy it and look forward every week to our group.
And can you tell me a little bit, I don't need you to share kind of too much detail, but I just wondered if you could tell me a little bit about, you mentioned circle of security. So what your understanding of what that is and the kind of things you would think about in
I'm
those
just
groups.
learning about it.
Yeah.
So, and I find it hard to take things in sometimes. It's just about like your child exploring, and then like when they need you and when you're to comfort them or let them explore, or the bottom of the circles when they're sad, I think. And there's actually different things that on the bottom of the circle. I'm still learning, so
Yeah.
I'm not really
But the stuff that you've talked about so far, are you finding it useful?
helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you give an
Eh,
example of something that's
Like one time taking a tantrum and it lasted like half an hour or to an hour or more, and because I'd been learning about the circle of security, I knew she needed me just to be there for her and cuddle her and tell her I love her and just be there for her. And yeah, it passed after about half an hour or an hour, but I don't know if I hadn't learned about the circle of security, I don't know what I would have done in that instance.
And do you feel that that kind of setting allows you to kind of think a little bit more about parenting? Some of the stuff you were describing sounds a little bit like kind of learning about that interaction between you and her telling you what she needs and you being able to respond to what she needs.
Yeah.
And does that feel quite new?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I suppose it sounded to me like the Chance for Change and the Bluebird, the stuff that was really positive around those projects was about kind of supporting you and your feelings and your loss. But whereas this has got a little bit more of a focus on kind of helping you move forward with that parenting aspect as well.
Baby, yeah.
And how have you found it being alongside other people in a similar position?
At first we didn't really chat, so it was quite hard, but we're getting to know each other now, and yeah, it's sad, I suppose.
Yeah. Why is it sad?
They've lost children as well.
There's that kind of shared understanding, maybe?
Yeah.
And alongside that, then Sarah, you see Sarah outside of those group sessions as well, is that right?
Yeah.
My understanding of it, yeah. And so what kind of things do you and Sarah do together?
We go out to like park, and sometimes she took me to the range last week for my Christmas tree and some paint. We're going to paint in my living room. She helps me sometimes like around the house. She always asks first if I want to do stuff in the house or go out. She was at my birth actually because I got let down from a birthing partner. So Sarah was actually my birthing partner. So yeah.
So she's really been with you right from the beginning.
Yeah. And it was strange because at first we didn't really like take to each other, but now we're so close. It's strange.
And when you
A
say
good strange.
Good strange, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the start, you're saying you didn't quite take to each other, and was
I
that
had another worker, Shara, and I was used to her. So
Okay.
I had to get used to Sarah, and it took a wee bit of time.
What things made it easier to get along with Sarah, and what advice have you got for other professionals, I suppose?
Be like Sarah.
I
I don't know what made it easier. Sarah was really understanding.
It's really lovely to hear about you and Sarah working alongside together and how supported you feel by her. And you were saying at the beginning, you know, you were already quite used to someone, so then having to change felt a little bit difficult. But then you got used to Sarah.
Yeah.
And can you remember a moment when you thought, oh, actually, she's okay, I feel comfortable around her? Was there a specific time that you thought this is working for me now?
I can't think.
Just over time, just thought, okay,
Yeah.
she's all right.
She's no all right. She's better than all right. She's amazing.
And Sarah, from your perspective, when you were getting to know Rachel, I suppose, were you conscious that it was going to be a big change for her and how that might feel?
Yeah, absolutely, because Rachel had worked really closely with Shara for a chunk of time. So, and I think the fact that Shara was actually leaving was a big loss for Rachel. So, yeah, it did take a little bit of time to work through, but not too long. I think it probably felt longer for Rachel at the time than it was, but it wasn't too long. Just took her time just to get to know me and how I work, and the same for me.
And Rachel, just thinking about kind of positive experience of working relationships, you know, what is it for you? Because you talked about feeling nervous meeting new people, for example, and you, I suppose, over time, I'm guessing you've had lots of involvement with different professionals and different projects, and for some kind of historical reasons. And I just wondered if you could help us think about what works really well and what maybe works less well when you're working alongside other professionals.
Well, I've had bad experiences as well with social workers in the past, but I suppose I wasn't doing as well as I am now.
When you're thinking about, when you mention about bad experiences, was that about your interactions with them? Was there something that they did that you found difficult in terms of the way you kind of interacted with them?
Yeah, it was like she was telling you rather than advising you.
So did it feel like there was a real, sometimes people talk about in all situations, you know, in life, there can be a real like power imbalance. So you think about like teaching situations, or, you know, you can go and see your doctor and you can either feel like you're working alongside them and they're asking how you are and what might be wrong, or they can sometimes feel like they're telling you what you should do and what's right or wrong.
I suppose like Sarah and Shara and that, they guided me. They never told me what to do.
And did that mean it was easier to kind of talk things through?
Yeah.
Think a little bit.
Try not to like make you uncomfortable and things. They try and make you really feel, or they do make you feel comfortable.
And so if you were kind of giving advice to other people, for example, social workers working alongside families, what would be the really big piece of advice
Be
you
kind.
would give them? Be kind. And what does kindness look like to you? Like
just taking on board their emotions and feelings and trying to be there for them rather than tell them.
Yeah. And I suppose I'm guessing that it makes a really big difference if the person that you're spending time with and talking to, particularly when it's about your child, is able to make you feel listened to, make you feel heard, as opposed to them telling you what they think you need to change.
Yeah.
And from your experience of working alongside Rachel, Sarah, have together, have you talked about those kind of differences, experience that Rachel's had to have? And
yeah, Rachel's quite often said, you know, that she doesn't like it if professionals talk to her, you know, as if she's stupid. And, you know, I've been in meetings like that where people have made assumptions and spoken to her in a certain way. So I suppose working with Bluebird, I hope that she's thought that she's had an advocate beside her, you know, somebody to speak up for her, although she is very good at advocating for herself now. Having somebody there that you know's got your back.
What makes you feel listened to? Because I think sometimes what can go wrong is somebody thinks they're listening, but maybe they weren't, or it didn't feel like they were listening to you.
Yeah, like all the workers are great at Bluebird. They always, like if you text them and things, they'll get back in touch with you as soon as they can. Workers maybe shouldn't be patronising as well.
Absolutely.
Patronising, I hate that.
Yeah. And do you think they are realising when they're being patronising?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. So can you give a good example again, if people were listening and learning, what would be a good example of someone being patronising and how it felt to be on the other end of that?
The way they said it.
So it's that thing of sometimes people talking in a way that, Sarah, you mentioned before that there's been times when you felt, Rachel, like some people are talking to you as if you're stupid.
Yeah,
And that's like
absolutely.
the tone or the way they've asked a question or something like that.
Yeah. And that's it's not nice to witness. And you would kind of hope in this day and age that people would know that is no longer acceptable. But I suppose it's good that there is a project like Bluebird where people can be challenged.
Absolutely.
And particularly the parents feel able to challenge that when they've got somebody sitting alongside them.
And it can be really powerful to talk about, to hear how it made someone feel. And I wondered, Rachel, if you'd be happy to share like how it makes you feel if someone is being patronizing or being unkind or not listening.
Angry, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're being treated fairly in those situations?
No, I suppose about Bluebird as well. It's really good. Everyone respects you there and treats you like a human being.
Yeah. It's kind of acknowledgement. Everyone in the room's different. Everyone in the room's got their own background, story, things they like, things they don't like, but we're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of sense of actually be kind to those around you, treat other people like you'd want to be treated yourself. And do you find those, for example, I've not seen those ground rules, I don't know what they look like, but do you find them kind of a helpful framework, I suppose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other people there, I think they find them helpful too, because it's about your privacy and things and respect and stuff like that.
Is there anything else, Rachel, that you think's really important either about the project or your experiences, or
just if you're thinking of coming along, go along and give it a try, even if you're nervous. Go along and give it a try, because you never know what you're missing. It's really actually amazing. I don't know where I'd be without them.
Wow, that's really singing some praises. It's really nice to hear.
It's true though.
That's great.
They've done a lot for me.
Yeah, and you're feeling a difference from that.
Yeah, a big difference. Yeah.
Has it made you feel more confident as a mum?
A wee bit, I suppose, but I'm not that confident as it is.
And is there anything else, Sarah, that you think it's worth us adding?
I suppose what has been lovely with the flock is to kind of see the group grow. Everybody kind of came in the first week and weren't really speaking to each other, and as the weeks have gone on, you can see relationships starting to build between the parents, and even the fact that they're sad that it's coming to an end, I think is lovely, because started to form friendships within the group and relationships with all the staff members. Yeah, it's been a fantastic piece of work to be part of.
Oh, it sounds great. And it's that I think you were saying, like, that idea that you're kind of worried about the ending coming, you're not liking the idea that there's not that much left to go, probably is a good indicator that it's been really positive for you. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Rachel. It's been really interesting talking to you. And just before we finish, I wondered if there was anything else that you felt we hadn't managed to touch on or you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I would just like to say to professionals, don't judge people. People change, give them a chance. That's what Bluebird did for me, and I will never forget that.
I think that's such a powerful and really important message. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Rachel.
That's okay.
Right, well, thank you so much, both of you, for talking to us today. If anybody would like to know more about the Bluebird Project or the flock, then please do get in touch with Scottish Adoption and Fostering for more information. But otherwise, I just wanted to say thank you so much to Sarah and thank you so much to Rachel for sharing their experiences with us today.